redo that TikTok.
Oh yeah, the one that in
June.
June.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Coming around.
Hi everybody.
Happy Sunday.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Jean-Luc.
And we are here on Sunday, April 24th with all of you.
Is it the 24th?
Yes,
I thought it was the 23rd.
It says it right there on the screen.
It's the 24th. Okay, I was like, what day of the week is it? Honestly.
We were, for those of you catching up with us, yes, Jean-Luc and Nick caught COVID.
We did. We caught the thing that no one wanted to catch, but
we caught it.
We did.
We had a rough few days where it was a little, tiresome.
I'm going to be honest. I'm glad that I had my vaccines and my boosters because I could
only
imagine what it would have been like without it. Like
it was terrible without it.
I can't even picture with it. It was not fun. So without it, could have just been 12 times even worse.
Yeah. So I'm glad.
So I'm very glad.
And now we can go out this summer because we're like triple vaccinated and we caught it. So we're good to go. We can see everyone now.
We're still going to wear a mask and we're still going to be very smart about things, mind you, right? Yes, definitely. And I recommend anybody out there, if you have any idea of, if you haven't experienced it yet, please keep wearing your masks. You don't want to catch it if you don't have to. It's not something that is fun to catch because you don't know how it's going to affect you. Everybody has been affected very, very individually and differently, and you don't know how it could affect you in the long run or even short term. So don't take the chances.
It's still in my lungs.
And I'm gonna get off my soapbox now and just say, wear your mask, be safe, but still have fun. I know we still want to live and survive, and that's the most important part.
The water word of the week is experience.
Ooh.
Delicious water. Actually, this has 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C.
I don't know if I put it in that one.
You didn't?
No, because I didn't have time.
I can taste it. Oh, maybe not. Maybe that's just the iced tea.
It's just the iced tea.
You didn't put some vitamin C in my drink?
Because I didn't. I forgot.
Fired.
Gwen was saying it's 81 somewhere. It's 81 there. Wow. I
don't know
I'm
here.
Jealous.
We haven't been outside.
I'm jealous. I don't know what it is. Yeah, we haven't been outside in days.
Okay, so to catch you guys up, COVID. Since we've been able to now slowly come out of our COVID fog, we started doing our step classes again.
We did. We took the entire week off.
We're slowly starting to come out of our hibernation. We haven't redone the jumping skip rope challenge. We haven't done any of that stuff yet. We'll catch up someday. But we're going to take it easier for the next little while.
We're going to be smart because we don't want to overdo ourselves because we know that it's still in us, right? It's still there and we don't want to relapse. We don't want to make something worse. So.
We checked in yesterday on a Shape-A. Again, we are Shape-A. We are sponsored by Shape-A now. And so which
is a numberless scale for those of you who don't know.
Gray.
I was light gray yesterday, but guess what? I went today. I am now green.
Yeah.
I went to green this morning. I was like, I went to green?
We had chips last night.
Green? How did that happen?
Kraft dinner, mac and cheese, grilled cheese yesterday.
What this has done to my brain as far as never freaking out about a number anymore. Like, it's really helped me where I'm not paranoid anymore.
I'm not mad at myself right now.
I'm not mad
for all and
I know I can make different choices and I know I can reestablish better habits, but I'm not mad at myself because I'm not always in the bad habit lane either. I'm trying to find that balance and I'm trying to find my way back.
And something else that happened this week is the P3 experience was kind of revealed to everyone this week. So we will take a few minutes to talk to you guys about the experience. And then we'll get to Tracy because she has such an amazing story. I can't wait to talk to her. So P3 experience, what is it? So Jean-Luc and Nick, Antoinette and Kieran have been doing retreats.
The middle word, the P3 we.
P3 we?
Yeah, the we.
P3 weight loss experience. Sorry, P3 weight loss experience.
It's the we.
I'm so used to saying it without the word weight loss in there. Okay, so P3 weight loss experience. And what it is Jean-Luc and Nick and Antoinette and Kieran did retreats last year and this year, earlier in January. And it always weekend packed full of tons of events. And 2 days, that was like crazy, tons of stuff happening. Cooking shows, dance parties, games night. It was jam-packed. And one of the comments we got was like, I wish it was longer. I wish it wasn't just one weekend. So we took our retreats and blew them up
into 12 weeks.
To 12 weeks.
Of
actually 13.
13.
Week one's orientation week. So there's actually 13 weeks of activities, of nutrition, of activity, nutrition, and mindset workshops. So weekly, you'll have on Tuesdays, power chats with Jean-Luc and Nick, Tuesday nights. On Wednesday nights, you'll have an activity chat with Antonetta. And then Thursdays will be a nutrition chat with Kieran.
Yes. And then 3 times throughout the entire experience in the 12 weeks, there's going to be 3 live cooking shows with Key and Jean-Luc and this kitty right here who wants attention. And then we're also going to have a dance party. We're having line dancing with Antonetta, where she's going to teach you how to line dance. We're also having virtual walks where we are going to go out in other different cities. So Antonetta will be in Stouffville. We'll be in Windsor one. Kieran will be in her area. And we're all going to go for a walk together on Zoom. We're going to walk through the forest in separate cities, but together with groups of people. So if you're in any of those cities and you want to join, you can as well. There also is
live cooking shows, games nights. Like there's a lot of stuff happening. So we've had a few questions. The reason we're bringing it up now is, of course, if you have questions, send us a message.
Definitely.
Cost. The cost for the P3 experience is $62.15 Canadian, all in for 12 weeks. There's no extra cost. That's all it costs for the entire 12 weeks. Number 1. Number 2, what about WW? We've had a lot of people reach out and say, I'm on a WW and I don't know if I should do this because I don't know if I'll be able to continue my WW and do this. It can be an add-on to what you're already doing.
Definitely.
We're not telling you during the P3 experience to change what you're doing.
If what you're doing works for you, keep doing it. But if you want to find different things to do and you want to learn different things, maybe change up how you're eating a little bit, join the experience.
Yeah.
So that way you can get, if you want the community, join the experience. If you want help with activity, join the experience.
Do I have to do it all? That's another question we have. Nope. It's 12 weeks. Everything's recorded. If you're gone for 1 week, you can just go back and watch your recorded videos. You're not missing anything. And then again, if you're busy one day, that's okay. If you miss a session, you just watch it whenever you want. The main focus we have is the community. The reason we call this P3 weight loss experience is if you remove the 8 loss and the experience and you put those 2 letters together,
W-E. It's
P3
about we. The P3 we.
It's about the community. It's about all of us working together to try to better our lives through health, nutrition, and activity and mindset. And the other unique thing is we're doing it with you. So Jean-Luc and Nick have not eaten the meal plan yet that Kieran came up with.
We've made a lot of changes in our meals already, but we haven't followed the meal plan 100% yet.
And so we will be doing it the same time as all of you. So when we're struggling with our snacking at night, we'll be telling you that we're struggling with our snacking at night.
And we really want people to understand this is a pilot program right now, right? Yeah. This is a pilot program. So all of you who are joining this pilot program are going to help develop and shape it into the next portion and the next part of it and how it's going to evolve. Remember, anything that starts, if you are part of something that starts from scratch, you're the pioneer. You're the pioneer. So we don't want anyone to miss out on that opportunity. Right now, it's not public in the sense where we're announcing it everywhere. We're only announcing it in our private groups. We're announcing it here. We're announcing it. If you have a friend that you're like, oh, I want them to join with me, please send them to the Facebook group. Let us know. Please reach out and we will give them all the information.
I've had a quick question that I would like to ask, which is somebody was asking about the Shape-A.
Yes.
Now, I have directed the person to myshape-a.com, but what I would like to know is there still a code for you guys?
Yes.
Jean-Luc and Nick.
Jean-Luc and Nick is the code for the Shape-A. So the Shape-A scale that we are Shape-A, the company that we're working with, which is also going to be explained during the P3 experience as well. It's a colorless scale. It's a colorless scale, a numberless scale where they give you a color instead of focusing on a number, and it allows you to understand if you're gaining, losing, or maintaining. And then as well, this code that we offer, that we're able to offer you, is $28 off of the yearly or 18-month subscription. But if you want more information, just reach out to us about Shape-A and we can explain a little bit more about that as well. Enough about P3, enough about Shape-A.
So now you guys should have been drinking tons of water.
Yes, there was a lot of water and experience being said, so I want a whole glass chugged. Come on, Laura, I saw you drink that water. Chug it. No.
So now that we've gotten all the legalese and all that crap out of the way, let's talk to Tracy.
Yay! Tracy.
Hi, Tracy.
Hello, everybody. It's nice to be here. Thank you so much
nice to have you with us.
It's awesome to have you, Tracy. It's so funny, Tracy. I'm trying to even remember. I was talking to Nick going, when did we meet? Do you remember when we met, Tracy? Like I don't even remember how it happened. It just feels like
remember.
I've known you.
Yeah.
It was Bessie.
It was Bessie.
Bessie, yes.
Yes.
And it was 2019.
Oh my goodness. It was that long ago?
Yes.
A long time ago.
I know. And she had asked you guys to come to my studio for the Kangoo Jumps class.
Kangoo Jumps.
And so that was the first time I met you. And then you guys came back for a retaping, and then we had lunch and blah, blah, blah. And it's like been ever since.
Well, yeah, like it's just awesome. So you know what? Before we even go into this, Tracy, how about you introduce yourself? Let everybody know who Tracy Farkland is. Who's Tracy? Franklin. Why did I said it wrong? I always do. You know me. I'm always good like that.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm Tracy, and I'm a registered nurse. I work in the local acute care hospital here, and I'm also a cancer survivor. I am a podcast host of a podcast called What Has Changed Your Life? And funny story about the podcast, I started that not intending to be a podcast host, but I noticed a lot of people were going through some really big journeys over COVID, including myself. And because we were all in our homes and not able to talk to each other, I'd created this podcast so that we could talk to each other. People could share their journeys, and then you wouldn't feel like you're alone. Aww. And so that's how that came to be. I'm also a co-author in 2 books, soon to be 3. And I'm a fitness instructor, and I teach Kangoo Jumps and also Pound as well. So that's a little bit about what I do. And
and then she's a mom of 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
twins. A mom of 2 and a husband, and you have a husband and a dog.
I do, and a dog.
And you take care of a house. So yeah, do you have time to sleep in amongst all of the things you do, lady?
I know. I have to be very organized. I literally have a calendar that is obviously my Google Calendar, but then I have a written one that I literally write everything in. That
you're
kind of like
Calendly.
Yeah. What's that?
I said you're by Calendly.
I am.
You're written and like high tech.
I am, because I'm old, but I'm trying to get into the new. I'm in that age group where we all had our little books that you bought from the dollar store every year, and we wrote into it, right? That's what we did.
We've both converted to online, the 2 of us.
Well, we've been online for
years now.
Let's just say we work with 2 ladies who like calendars.
That are part of the P3 experience that write it all out, and we're like, oh, here they come with their books.
And we're like, oh, I know. Just delete.
Done.
Well, the thing that I do with it, though, is the one that's written. That's kind of what I'm envisioning I need to do over the next month or 2. Gotcha. When it's solid, then it goes into my Google Calendar.
Listen to that.
There's a method to the madness.
That's a great technique. I love that idea.
Yes.
I love that technique, especially, and it's a great way to transition yourself into the
digital one,
the digital calendar.
Exactly.
So I'm going to share that with Antonetta. I'm going to share that with her. Because you're trying to get her digital. The woman won't do it, but we're trying.
We've been trying.
She's like me. We're a little bit of hard nuts to crack.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Let's just say Jean-Luc and Nick always know where they need to be.
Yes, we know.
we always have the Zoom link we need.
Yep. Actually, that's been really, really helpful. And I didn't understand that till I really started going digital. And that link alone, like today, I was like, okay, I already have the link for tonight. I don't need to find the email that it came in originally. It's linked right up to my calendar. So yes, that is a very, very helpful thing.
Very Tracy, helpful. I do have a question for you. So now let's dive back a little bit. One of the things that we talked about when we were bringing you on to get an interview today is that you're a cancer survivor. It was one of your. So I kind of want you, because you've told us your story about, how you were unhealthy, and then you discovered you had your cancer scare, and it kind of changed your life. And I would love for you to kind of go into that story, because it was very inspirational when we heard it, and I'm sure a lot of people here will feel the same way.
Well, I want to dial it back even further.
Before I was born on a farm in 19.
Picture it, Sicily, 1966.
Well, in order to understand the epiphany with my, am I still there?
Yeah, you're here.
Oh, okay. My screen flashed. So I was like, whoo. In order to understand that journey and where I was in terms of health and wellness, I got to go back a little bit further. So I'm going to take you back to emotional eating and how that started for me. So growing up in the 70s, showing signs of emotions was considered a weakness.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, in fact, taught, you sucked it up. You literally sucked it up. You didn't cry. You didn't show feelings. You didn't express thought. You didn't express yourself in any way. Children were basically seen and not heard because our parents didn't really want to see it or hear it. Right? So if I expressed myself, it always ended in conflict, especially with my mom. Right? And if she was upset with you, she would not speak to me for weeks.
Wow.
Like literally weeks. And so she would deprive me of that communication when I was younger. One year for Mother's Day, I gave her a Mother's Day card and she was upset with me at the time. And what happened was she would not receive it. She wouldn't take it. And so literally I spent my childhood trying to gain affection and love from someone that did not have the tools how to give it. She was never taught. Therefore, she wasn't able to give it to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I was begging for anything, a simple hug, an encouraging word, some way to show me that my parents cared, that I was even there. Right. You know what I mean? So when that didn't come, I learned how to cope with my sadness, my loneliness, my anger, my anxieties with the thing that I could control, which was food. So what I learned as a child was how to stuff my feelings down into the pit of my stomach and use food as my outlet.
And just have food.
And I think that's probably, I think if you should look in the room, I think a lot of us will raise hands with that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us have learned that.
I honestly love the way you explained it, Tracy, too, because I think a lot of times people don't realize that, you know what, your mom didn't know how to allow you to express your feelings because it wasn't something that was talked about as much as it is talked about nowadays.
Exactly. And she came from an era in the war, and she lost both her parents before she was 16 years old.
Wow.
So she learned how to survive.
Yeah.
And so therefore she didn't know what affection meant. She learned it later in life. We learned that together as adults. But as a mother and a child relationship, mom didn't know what to do. Mm-hmm. She only learned what she did to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's definitely how she coped in life.
Wow.
Yeah. And when our hearts are hurt like that, we go to a place and we have experiences of anguish. Mm-hmm. And I really, really want to share this quote with everybody from Brene Brown, because I'll tell you, it completely defines my childhood and also my journey with being unhealthy. And this is what it means. Anguish is an almost unbearable and traumatic swirl of shock, grief, and powerlessness. The combination of these experiences not only takes away our ability to breathe, feel, and think, anguish often causes us to physically crumble in on ourselves, literally bringing us to our knees and forcing us all the way to the ground.
Wow.
And that defines my childhood. Now we go into survival. Mm-hmm. That's where my cancer journey comes into play. Most of my life, I was just surviving because I didn't know anything else. From childhood to adulthood, I was just trying to survive. And I learned, as you can imagine, how to do things on my own. So, for example, when I was 11 and I got my period for the first time, I went to Shoppers Drug Mart by myself. I didn't tell my mom anything, and I bought the pads myself.
Wow.
Right? I didn't have that guidance.
Right. You didn't have a role model to look up to.
You had to be independent from the get-go.
Very independent from the get-go. Beginning.
I was riding the TTC at 8 years old to Scarborough Town Center by myself.
Wow.
When I was being bullied at school, I learned how to fight. Right? That's what I did to survive. And when I was upset or hurt, I made myself in sewing class, because we did sewing class in the 70s, a little stuffed frog. And so when I was upset or hurt, who I would talk to was that stuffed frog. Was my stuffed frog. He was called Greenie because that's an original name.
Hey,
that's all that matters.
Hey, you loved Greenie and he was your companion. That's all that matters.
He was. And that's who I would talk to. And he didn't talk to back at all. The other thing that I learned really well growing up was how to people please. And that was a survival technique for me as well, because if you said to me, oh, I like water sports, I'd be like, I like water sports too.
Let's go.
Let's go, right? Or if you said to me, oh, I like skiing. Oh, I like downhill skiing too. And by the way, I don't like downhill skiing. I don't like it.
Tracy, you remind me of the time my friend Young invited us to go to paintball in spring where there was still snow out. Let's just say that's a combination that doesn't really work for Jean. First of all, it's a gun. We're not really, it's athletic and we were big at the time. So that didn't really work back then either. And it was cold. It was so freaking cold. And so I was like, the whole time I was like, I'm not enjoying this. I'm freezing now.
And then ouch.
I'm out. I'm going to go sit down. I'll go I don't drink hot chocolate. So I'll go hold the cup so I can warm up.
Yeah. Well, paintball hurts. I've done paintball. It hurts.
Oh, it hurts. It hurts.
And don't ever do it. If you ever go to paintball, for anybody that's watching, don't go. And if the opposite team is all wearing fatigues, run the other way.
Yes.
Okay? Run. Even if you're in a black garbage bag, they know what they're doing and they will peg you off from miles away.
Agreed.
I learned that.
I just sit in one spot, really. That's basically what I do. I just sat in one spot and someone will find me at some point. Where's the dessert?
But exactly.
It's so funny that, you know what, I think a lot of people who
are people pleasers
are people who struggle with either food or weight, they tend to fall in that category of being people pleasers because they want to make sure everyone's happy. And so they'll go along with what everybody else wants and won't stand up for themselves. And when I say stand up, I don't mean like, hey, but won't say, or disagree.
We're both people pleasers. So picking a place to eat or take out is very hard for us because we won't make a decision. We'll be like, oh, what do you want? What do you want? And so it's like our conversation about what each of us want instead of each of us saying, I want this, because that's the people pleaser in us.
Yes. But we also do it as a survival technique because we want to fit in.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. And when we want to fit in with other people and we're trying to make friends, even as adults, you want to fit in, but the reality is you don't want to fit in. What you want is to belong.
Yes.
Right? Fitting in requires you to change who you are. Belonging doesn't require any change at all because the person who has you belong in their group loves you the way you are.
No matter what.
No matter what, flaws and all.
And I also wonder, because you shared that you were bullied, and we were bullied. So maybe that's also a symptom of bullying because we want to belong. We want people to like us.
And we're afraid that if we don't agree and please, people will bully us more.
Mm-hmm. And so that's why we go back to let's do what everybody wants to do.
If we don't disagree, people will like us more and we won't be bugged or teased or laughed at.
Exactly.
We're status quo.
Yes, and then you're not the target.
Exactly, because you fit in. Because you fit in.
Because you fit in, right? So, and I know for myself, I'm very I'm very sensitive. I've learned how to, over the years with nursing, have a bit of a harder shell on me, which I'm learning to crack. But as a child, I was very sensitive. So when you're sensitive, you're also an easy target for bullies because you'll get a reaction.
Definitely.
I cried a lot, so that's why I was an easy target. I cry, and still do to this day.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, and the bullies want reaction. So anybody out there, if I could give you any word of advice, if someone keeps picking at you and antagonizing you with the same questions, the best thing you can do sometimes is not reply and not say anything, because then eventually they give up.
Exactly.
Or you become friends with him, and then he makes friends with other people, and then they all say, oh, "Don't be mean to them," or they stand up for us in Dominican Republic.
Yeah,
that happens too.
Really? That happened to you in the Dominican Republic?
Yeah, someone was mean to us, and people we had met at the resort actually stood up for us and like got all like growl, and we're like, we're just dancing, like we're innocent. We're not trying to cause a bar brawl here, but yeah, it happened to us in Dominican that there was comments made, and yeah, so that's the thing. Like when you grow up with that kind of negativity, people against you, I can and I understand why we all have these tendencies to, and I think a lot of us in this room probably have the tendencies that we want to please people. We'll meld ourselves to the situation because we want to make sure that we belong and that someone wants us to be there. No one in the world wants to be. I want no one ever to talk to me. I don't want ever to someone to acknowledge me. I want to be alone all the time, and no one's like that. Humans are generally not like that. We want the love, we want the acceptance and the group and the community to be around us.
Yes, absolutely. Because that's how human beings have always thrived, is with community, right?
Exactly.
But we have to understand that not everybody's gonna like me, and not everybody's gonna like you, but find the people that do. Find the people that surround you with that love and that acceptance. That's the people you want to be with, not the people you're trying to change yourself for. 100%.
Definitely.
Right.
I love that, Tracy. That's awesome. Yes, 100%. 1,000%.
Yeah. So when I was 39, that was when I was diagnosed with cancer. And I completely went into survival mode. Speaking of survival mode. And I was not able to deal with anything other than what was the next step in my journey? What was the next step in my treatment? So I had bilateral mastectomies. So these babies are fake because my real ones tried to kill me. By the way, I don't need to wear a bra anymore either.
They're perky again. I'm sorry, I had to.
Jean-Luc.
She was okay.
I know.
She's like, they're perky.
I had to say it. They can't see that on there. I had to pretend to be all like the crude of the two.
It's okay. I walked into it, so I'm okay with that. I also when I had the reconstruction, it was like a 7-hour surgery. So it was a big surgery that I had done to have these removed. But for me, at the time of the diagnosis, I knew that I was going to get rid of them pretty much right from the word go, because of the fact that I was second generation breast cancer. I knew that they had to go. And that also helped me be able to sleep at night.
Yes.
Not the decision that every woman would make. You have to make that decision for yourself and what you're comfortable with. And that's what I generally say to people. I was
just going to say, my mom was the same way when she was diagnosed with breast cancer. Right away, she said, remove it. They were like, well, we could do this, we could do that. She's like, I'm not taking any chances. I want it gone. And that was her decision. So.
Exactly. And like I said, every woman does it differently. And you just have to do what's best for you. Because of my young age, they basically wanted to throw the book at me. So I had 6 rounds of chemotherapy. And I also had a drug called Herceptin for 1 year afterwards. Herceptin is the drug for breast cancers that are HER2 positive, which is basically a protein that drives the cancer. So that's the specific drug for that cancer. So I had all of that. And basically, because of my years of emotional trauma, I was a chubby kid. And then with all the cancer drugs, the chemo, the prednisone, the Herceptin, all of it, I put on more weight.
Mm-hmm.
And that was devastating for me because before I was diagnosed with cancer, I was a long distance runner. And I was training for my very first half marathon when I was diagnosed. And so I was like 120 pounds at the time. And it took me years to finally get all that weight off. And so I was devastated when all this weight went back on. And so after my treatments, I started running again and figured out very quickly, because of everything that I was doing, I couldn't run. My running days were over. I was in too much pain. Every single joint, every single bone, I could feel it. It was hurting me so much. I would be in tears.
How did that feel for you, losing your running? How did that feel for you? Like, how was that?
Oh, I was devastated because I was always I loved that. They call it the runner's high.
Yeah, definitely.
I loved the runner's high.
Yeah.
Loved it. It was like something that fueled me. Mm-hmm. And so when I lost that ability, I was devastated because I thought, when you're diagnosed, the biggest thing too is you want to go back to what was. I want to go back to where I was before cancer. Like when I look at pictures, it's before cancer and after cancer.
Wow.
And it took me a really long time to realize that I'm glad I'm not back there. I'm glad I'm here. Right?
Oh, wow.
It took me years to figure out that part of that was who I am today. Part of that journey. I had to go through all of that to get to where I am today, to learn the lessons that I had to learn.
To be the amazing person that you are at this time.
And all the changes you've made in your life to become who you are.
Exactly. And in order to do that, sometimes we have to go through that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at this time that I was diagnosed with cancer, one of the things that had happened not long before was I started to go to therapy to finally address my unhealthy lifestyle, what wellness and health looked like. So because I had to address my trauma was basically what I needed to do. So the nice thing about going through, I guess it's a nice thing, I don't know. But one of the things
silver lining, right? The lemonade
was, as I was going through my trauma and dealing with that with my own life coach, and then being diagnosed with cancer, when I shut down at the beginning of that diagnosis, because reality is my mortality was like hitting me right in the face.
Right.
Yeah.
Because at the beginning, when I was first diagnosed, I didn't know what my prognosis was.
Okay.
So at the beginning of my journey, I didn't know if I was stage 1, stage 2. It wasn't until after my surgery, when I first saw my oncologist, that I knew I was stage 1. So I knew my chances of survival were very good.
Yeah.
But, for me, it felt like my whole life was at stake. So at the beginning, I did shut down. And I avoided my feelings of fear, anger. Why is this happening to me? My fear of death. All this sadness, everything that, what if I don't see my children grow up? What if I don't see them get married? What if I don't see my grandchildren? All of those things were running through my head, right? And I stuffed my feelings back down into my stomach and went into robot mode. And then when I felt like I was a bit ready, I started to then work on getting myself healthy mentally. I didn't work on the physical right away.
Mm-hmm.
I needed to work on the mental first, because I needed to get over that hurdle of this huge diagnosis that I had just had.
Yeah.
So I worked mentally first, and then the physical ended up coming a bit later, which for me, when I finally found the exercise that gave me that runner's high, which was the Kangoo jumps, and the best part, I didn't hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you, I've never looked back. Like I love those things like nobody's business.
They're a lot of fun.
I was going to say we should.
They're a lot of fun.
I know they're so much fun. So if you've never seen, do you want to explain the rebound boots for people so they understand what it is?
So their Kangoo jumps are rebound boots, and basically they have a spring in the middle of the boot, and that takes, when you jump on it, it squishes down like a trampoline, and it takes the impact out of your joints basically. So when you're jumping around, you're not getting that, like if you were doing it in running shoes, you'd be pounding on the pavement, right? Whereas the boots take that 80% of that out of that
and
impact.
when you wear them, you feel like you're wearing high heels and you're walking down the catwalk.
Yeah.
Like that's how it felt. Like I was like, woo!
And it's funny because the first time we went in, we were so afraid to fall. We didn't think we were going to have enough balance, but it's insane with these shoes. Once you put them on and you walk around in them for like,
I was jumping within 10 minutes.
Within 5 minutes, you're like, wow, this is kind of okay. This is doable. I can do this.
Yes, absolutely. It's just they do look intimidating. There is a slight learning curve to them. Naturally, yeah. But once you get into them, I mean, I love them. So I love them. So I'm like, why doesn't everybody love them? But I just love them. And they give me that intensity. And to be honest, they gave me my life back because of what I was missing from before.
And I'll say this, your story, this story here of you embracing the Kangoo jumps is kind of what it kind of inspired us with our step classes. So you're kind of part of the whole process of us becoming steppers.
Step instructors.
Because when we met you and you said that this became your life and how you enjoyed it so much, back then, I think we even talked to you about, oh, we love step. We would love step one day to be something we could do. It was like an idea of, and now, like you, we can't get enough of doing our step classes. Like we can't wait to do them all the time. And I think for you, it's become kind of part of your activity. It's become part of your job of teaching this class is now something that's also your own workout. So it's kind of incorporating your job and your workouts together.
Yes. And it's fun. And I love music. And having the music going and the energy of everybody in the room and just being with a community of people that we have all ages, all like every walk of life have come to our classes. And I love it because everybody supports everybody. Nobody cares. And the one thing that my students always say to me, to new people that come, they're like, don't worry about if anybody's looking at you. We're looking at Tracy's feet because we don't know what she's doing. Yeah, we don't know where she's going next. So we got to focus on her feet.
That's so
they
funny.
all do. Yeah, because they never know what I'm doing. And then I turn around and look at them and I'm like,
And you got to do something pretty cool with that a couple of years ago, if I'm not mistaken. You got to go to Cuba and like you were on state.
Was it Mexico?
Was it Mexico?
Right?
Mexico. Okay. So it was Mexico. And you were with like a team of like instructors that did this huge thing in Mexico. So can you talk about that just a bit?
So I had the opportunity to do two things. We went to Cancun for the International Kangoo Jumps Festival. And so Canada, for the first time, created a team and we went down and performed for all these international presenters.
That's so cool.
I was part of that team. And then the other thing was I was given a slot to be one of those international presenters. Woo-hoo! And so... yeah, so I did that with one of the other instructors, Emily. That was our first one. And since then, because of COVID, all of our festivals have been online. So I've been able to perform in, I want to say 20 plus more festivals
cool. Wow,
as a presenter. So
that's so cool.
Yeah. So it's not just for me personally, it's like ingrained in me now. Like I don't have high heels, I have Kangoo jumps, right? Like I don't, and it's a part of me. It's even if I'm not teaching, I'm still jumping because I love it that much.
And what I love about this story, Tracy, it's a story of perseverance. It's a story of saying, guess what? I might have lost one part of who I used to be, but I've gained so much more.
So much more.
The running was who I used to be, but I'm now a king.
I think look at
where I've achieved because of everything.
I think right there is what the big point I want to like. A lot of us are worried about, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. I can't fit into my clothes I used to fit back when I was in my 20s. I can't. Those were your 20s. Life changes. It's okay not to be that person. Who you are today with the skills you have now is just as valid. Remember when you were 20 years old, could you do half the stuff you do now? Could you figure out half the stuff you do at work, your daily life? No, you had to learn all those skills, and that adds on, wrinkles and extra pounds, and it adds on to that. But you have to go through that to get the knowledge you have today to be in your life and be happy today.
Well, the person you were today isn't the person you were yesterday, no matter which way you look at it.
Exactly.
No matter which way you look at it, right?
Exactly. And the thing about it is the person in my 20s would never, and I will as straight up tell you, never gotten on that international stage.
I wouldn't be here. 20-year-old Nick was like hidden somewhere in the back of the room and I didn't talk to anyone. So like,
yes, exactly. I was too afraid of my own shadow half the time.
Yeah.
Because I was so afraid of upsetting someone that I would never have gotten on that stage. So that journey that I had to take to get to say to myself, first of all, you got to learn how to love yourself.
Oh, amen.
Right?
Amen.
And I tell my clients all the time, you got to look in the mirror. As dumb as this exercise is going to sound, you are going to look in that mirror and you are going to tell yourself, I love you till you mean it.
I love you.
Yes, yourself. Because if you don't love this person, right? You've got to love this person.
I was looking at my reflection.
RuPaul says it best.
I was looking at my reflection. I was talking to him. He's right there.
I'll say it. RuPaul says it all the time. How can you love yourself? How can you love anybody else if you don't love yourself? You have to love yourself first.
Exactly. You've got to love yourself first. And it's a really hard exercise to do just by looking in the mirror, like literally looking at yourself into your eyes and saying, I love you till you mean it.
And I think, you know what it is though, Tracy? I honestly think a lot of times when people struggle with the I love you is because they think I love you means I have to love
everything about me.
I have to love everything about me, but I can be disappointed in things that I've done and look and say, I still love myself, but I can make better choices, or I can do something different next time. I don't have to make the same mistakes over and over again. I don't have to. I'm the one that makes them, but I can learn from them and grow from them. I still can love myself as I'm making those mistakes. That's so important.
And the thing I would change is I would say not mistakes, lessons.
Yes. Definitely.
Because
so now,
So
I was saying kind of the same wavelength. How did you start doing Pound then? How did that come about? Because when we met you, like in 2019, you weren't doing Pound then. But when did that happen?
No. You know what? I saw it and it just looked like fun. And I was like, I want to try that. So I did. I took a class and I'm like, I really like this. I think I'm going to teach this. And so that's literally how it started. And also too, I had to, again, be mindful of my joints. So with the Pound, there's not a lot of jumping. And so that really works for me.
And just for those of you who don't know, Pound is literally drumsticks and working out with drumsticks and like pounding it on the ground, pounding it in the air, pounding it together for people who might not be familiar with that.
And the rip sticks are very lightly weighted so that you get an upper body workout.
You can just walk outside with them like this.
I'll never forget when we did it with you. The next day, my arms were so sore. I was like, oh my goodness, that is a workout. You would never think just tapping these sticks together would actually
And one of your pounders is here tonight. Lynn's here tonight.
Lynn's here. I see her. Hi, Lynn. Yes. And so, so every week on Fridays at 7, I do a Pound class. It's free. We do it on Zoom. So if anybody wants to join, just send me a DM, and you don't even need the rip sticks. You can use spoons if you want. Wooden spoons
would work, right?
Whatever you've got in your kitchen.
You might poke yourself.
I think those are a little bit daggery.
How about my cleavers, my knives? Can I use my knives?
No, definitely not.
Definitely not.
So that's just because I liked it. And what a way to get rid of your, aggression, anger. Right? You're like drumming, get rid of your stress and your frustration. So we just have a good time. We're a nice little group, and the ladies are lovely that come, and we just have 30 minutes of fun.
I love it.
So Tracy, would you be okay in our group after the show to just share how people can find you for Kangoo jumps and for Pound if they want to join you? Would be okay sharing that in our group?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We've had a few people asking, so I think they probably have maybe some new joiners in your classes.
So there's two other things that I want to talk about really quick. First, again, you're co-authoring a third book now. Like you're going to.
I am. I just finished writing the chapter, and it's on stress and cortisol levels. So for people that don't know what cortisol levels are, that's your stress hormone. So I've written a chapter about what that is, how it affects the body, especially for women, because we tend to, when our cortisol levels increase, whether it's chronic stress or acute stress, we carry it around our middle. And so that's why you'll tend to see women with that, what I call the menopausal belly, when you're, a certain age, especially. And that's part of the reason is because our cortisol levels increase. And it's like chronic low levels of cortisol. So my chapter is about what to do about that and how to help yourself decrease your cortisol level and your stress levels. Added benefit is sometimes we lose our belly, which is fantastic. So yes,
exactly.
Yes. So that's going in probably this week. That chapter is going to go in, and I'm not sure when that book's coming out yet, but sending it off to the publisher for my chapter. So yeah,
that's amazing. You'll have to share the titles of your other books as well, because I know people love reading in our group. People love learning, and especially when they feel connected to the person. And now that they've all seen you and spoken with you, they'll be like, yes, definitely want to know. And so not only do you do all of this, you've now decided to become, if I'm not mistaken, you're doing life coaching, correct? Is it life coaching? Is it what field are you going in? You went into?
So I actually graduated with a health and wellness life coaching certificate. So health and wellness being one, and then I also did the life coaching too. And part of the reason I did that was about a year and a bit ago, I had an epiphany in life. Sometimes it takes big things to make me realize, hey, you shouldn't be doing that anymore. So what happened was I had some gallbladder issues. And I went to the hospital because I was in so much pain. And turns out I had a mass in my gallbladder. So luckily it was benign and I had my gallbladder removed and everything was fine. But what it made me realize was you need to make a change in your life. Your job is toxic. Your environment is toxic at work. You are what some people call it burnout. I call it abuse of the system. What we went through as nurses during COVID, we are all going to have PTSD from.
1,000%.
Yeah,
and I'm lucky because the whole time I was working with my own life coach, because I always joke, every life coach needs a life coach.
You do.
Honestly. So I was working with her. So I was able to work through a lot of my intense emotions from the fear of COVID, not knowing what we were walking into, being redeployed, all of those things. So when I was diagnosed with this benign tumor in my gallbladder, I went, okay, you need to change your life, because the reality is that job is going to kill you if you stay there. And you don't want that, because I love life way too much for that to happen. And I've come through that journey once before, and I wasn't going to do it again. So I said to myself, you know what? You're done. You're going to find something else. So that's when I started looking for something that I could partner my nursing background with.
Yes.
And then I started looking at programs or courses. What can I take that's going to marry those two together? And then I found the health and wellness and the life coaching program that I chose, and their values and their beliefs were so similar to mine. When it comes to being healthy and well, it's about not just the body and the food, it's about the mind and the soul. And that's what I believe as well. And so I was like, I am all in. I'm all in, because that way I can also help people in a more impactful way. So one of the things about my program, when I was creating programs for my future clients, I was also going through the program myself. And that was great because it really did tackle my emotional eating, my avoidance coping mechanism that I used, as well as my survival techniques. And it was really deep dive into those things and me acknowledging them even more than I already had been, in order to make that complete change and understand what true health and wellness looks like.
Actually is.
And what's funny is that that's similar to us. Like, we realize we do these shows all the time. People reach out to us all the time about what they're going through. And we felt that we didn't have even though we've gone through a lot and we have a lot of life experiences to help others with what we've gone through, to help them, maybe traverse their own journeys. We didn't have the teachings of how to do this.
And the techniques and the understanding.
Yes.
And I love what you said there, because as far as your health and wellness journey, we all have this idea of what health and wellness means. You weigh a specific amount on a scale. You always eat the most healthiest foods. You never eat any sugar. You don't drink coffee. You don't do this. You're not super thin, but you're perfect. You fit in off the rack clothing. You know what I mean? We have these ideas of this is what health is. But you know what?
Some of the thinnest people out there are the most unhealthy people out there.
But the people that have
Bingo.
This thing right here, your mind and your heart, when those are in check and you are making sound decisions for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's where health starts.
Exactly. And that's what real health and wellness is
about.
100%. Yes. And, even doing something in the morning as simple as having an attitude of gratitude.
I love that.
Right? Waking up in the morning and saying, what am I thankful for? Some days for me, when I was going through all this trauma at the hospital, some days it was as simple as, okay, I'm upright. I'm on this side of the grass today. And it was as simple as that, just to get me through the day. And when you wake up with that attitude of gratitude and you think about, okay, what was I thankful for yesterday? What was I thankful for last night? It's amazing how that positivity permeates through your whole entire day, and negativity just kind of bounces off you a bit.
Yep.
Because you're like, no, I'm good.
Yep.
My hair looks amazing today, or I was able to shower today. If you're a mom with kids that are like pulling your hair out and whatever, because that's real, right?
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's as simple as that. Sometimes it's as simple as, hey, I did my eye makeup today and I look fantastic.
And I love that you use the words simple. We as humans complicate things.
We can.
If we look at things with a simple lens and say, you know what?
How many of us say this situation's happening? Oh, this is going to happen. That might happen. This might happen.
We jump to conclusions, right?
We assume things.
Exactly. So thinking of the next step and not thinking about 3 steps ahead sometimes is very, very
Now, doesn't mean you don't plan, but don't plan all the plans.
Planning and jumping to conclusions are very different things.
Right? 20 years from now, I might need a house somewhere. So right now, I'm going to go out and build a house because I might need it in 20 years. You know what I mean? Like that's like you still have to plan. But what we're saying is that, plan according to the situation you're in now. Don't plan every scenario that's going to every outcome. Plan for the things tend to happen instead of waiting for all the scenarios out there.
Exactly. And also plan for you.
Yes.
We often want to plan for other people. And sometimes we stifle our desires and our dreams because we're like, oh, if I do that, will my husband be mad at me? Or, oh, what's so-and-so going to say if I go and start doing this thing? No, do it for yourself. Because the reality is the people around you, like your spouses, your kids, your family, whatever, they're going to rally. If you say, like I said, well, I'm going to go do this course for, health and wellness and life coaching. My husband's like, okay.
Sure.
Right?
It doesn't matter.
Was he like, I have to go with you?
No. But he benefits from it.
Of course he does.
He benefits from it.
Of course he does.
The reality is there are people around me, friends are like, what is she doing? Why is she doing that? They don't need to understand your dreams.
No.
They didn't need to understand my dreams. But do it for yourself. Because if that's what makes you happy and fulfilled, then that's what you need to be doing, regardless of what the noise says.
That's a great note to end on today. That's a beautiful note to end on today.
That is like, wow, Tracy, so amazing to end on that because we always think.
Live your own dreams.
Live your dreams.
Live it.
Live your dreams and let everybody else just be jealous.
That's just noise in the background.
It's noise. And the reality is other people's opinions of you shouldn't matter to you.
Right? They might sting a little, but just think 30 seconds, breathe in, breathe out, and then eventually just forget about it because somebody else will be along saying, I love you.
Someone once told me, never think. Most people don't do things with ill intention.
Most.
Okay. The road is paved with good intentions.
Exactly. So sometimes we don't know what other people are going through. So when they interact with you and you're in a good mode, in a space, they might sometimes not be in the same mindset as you are. So again, that whole interaction really has to just take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself.
Exactly.
be your number one. Oh, Tracy.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much,
oh my
Tracy.
God, I wish we had more time.
I know, but
I know.
Listen to you forever.
Listen, you guys have to cut me off, or I'd be sitting on here for like hours.
Tracy, can you share in the group any information? So I know you have also your own personal group. If you want to find you, like, can you just do a post of just everything, like the Tracy post? Awesome, because I'm sure people here tonight want to find you.
Yes.
Yes, I will definitely put it in the group. Also, I will tell everybody who's watching, if you go to my website, www.kangooclubkicks.ca, I'll put it in the group, and there's going to be a button there called Coaching Tips / Gift for You. Click on that. There's 3 more tips that you can use starting today to help you on your health and wellness, to give you that head start.
Oh, I love that. Thanks for sharing that, Tracy. That's so awesome.
Thank you so much for having me. I always love chatting with you guys.
Definitely. We love chatting with you too.
When we went to lunch last time with her, it was like we talked for hours. We had a hard. We couldn't even separate at the car.
Yeah, we could leave at the car. We were like, okay, we kind of technically should go now.
It's
been 7 hours.
You put you put a bunch of people that talk a lot together, and I think you know what happens, right? It just doesn't end.
Well, hours go by, but we're enjoying each other's company so much, you just don't even realize how long it's been.
Well, someone in chat said, it's Sunday chats. It's the fastest hour of my week. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Tracy. Thank you for being here, Tracy.
Thank you, everybody.
You are a light and an energy that everybody needs in their life.
Definitely follow her. So once she posts in the group, guys, go follow her. Go look at her stuff. She does stuff in her own group sometimes too, like inspirational videos and quotes. So, and
if you want to see what Kangoo Kicks is all about too, go to our website and you can see a video on our YouTube channel about with us doing it as well, because we were there. Yes. It was Christmas time. It was after.
No,
well, there was Christmas, and then there was one in the New Year too. Yes.
Yeah, we did twice. Oh my goodness, I want to go back.
Yeah,
I'm coming back.
Yes, and we got to tell Antonetta she's got to come back too.
Oh well, we did it with Antonetta.
Yeah, we did it. That was the first time meeting her.
It was with Antonetta.
Yeah, it was one of our earlier times meeting her, so that's kind of crazy.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you so much, Tracy.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Love you.
Wow, so that was a crazy talk. Again, like we could talk for hours, as you guys all know. Next week we're off.
We are off next Sunday, everybody.
Well, we'll be honest, we're actually not off. We're actually doing P3. So at this time next week, we're actually launching P3.
It's the welcome reception for everybody participating in the P3 weight loss experience. So for those of you
so for anybody looking for Tracy's website, it's kangooclubkicks.ca. So Kangooclubkicks.ca. Okay, you'll be able to find her on there. But yeah, so next week no show. We're back the week after that.
The week after, and then the week after that is on May 8th, and we have a celebrity coming in right here, Miss Lindy Salucci, who's been in People Magazine three times. Four.
Maybe four.
I think it's 4.
She was on the Today Show.
She's been on Marilyn Dennis. She's been on all sorts of shows.
And we've actually met her.
And we've met her in person. And she fan geeked on us. Well, we were like, oh my God, Lindy. So honestly, I can't wait to talk to her about her amazing weight loss journey.
She lost over 100 pounds, also a cancer survivor. You'll hear her story about how she went through her journey. And then on May 15th, we have the lovely Tia joining us. Our
blogger who just started a couple weeks ago, actually. Tia is also going to come talk about some mental health issues that she's gone through and her wellness journey and what made her decide to start blogging for us.
May 22nd, we have Dr. George Naum and his wife, Vanessa. Vanessa has also lost a lot of weight, but the two of them actually became marriage coaches. So they're actually couples coaches. So we're actually going to talk to them about them becoming couples coaches and how they work with people and how it all works for them, and also find out about Vanessa and her own weight loss journey as well.
Exactly. And then our very last guest
of the summer
before our summer break, because Jean-Luc and Nick are taking a summer break, is our lovely Terry Lynn. Our lovely T is going to be our guest on.
Wait till you see her before.
Oh my goodness! Wait, her story as well, because I mean, she's gone through
knee surgery,
and you name it.
She has an amazing story,
and we can't wait for her to share it with all of you. She's a fantastic, lovely lady who does step with us and just is always smiling and is just infectious.
And we have some news for all of you.
We do.
So after that week, there may not be a live show anymore, but the Zoom room on Sundays will remain open. So at 7 o'clock on Saturdays and on Sunday nights, you guys can still come to the Zoom room. Kim and Rosie have agreed to keep the show going off camera.
It will no longer be recorded or filmed, so you won't be able.
And we probably won't be there most of the time. We might show up when we can, but we probably won't be there most of the time. But the Zoom room will actually be there Sundays for you guys at 7. So you guys can come on and still chat with each other, still catch up, still keep in touch.
And again, according to their calendars as well. If Kim or Rosie aren't available, then we won't. If somebody else wants to take over, let us know. If Lynn says I'll take over,
do it, or if anybody else, just let us know. Send us a message saying I'll do it today, and we'll open the room.
We'll open the room. But Kim and Rosie graciously, actually, I'm not gonna lie, poor Kim. We kind of confiscated her Tuesdays
because Kim's Corner won't happen
on Tuesdays anymore. So for those of you who were doing Kim's Corner, come on Sundays instead because we need we're busy on Tuesdays.
Yes, we're gonna be doing an 8 o'clock thing.
We have an 8 o'clock power chat on Tuesday. Power chat.
So again, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Tracy, again for coming on as a guest. If anybody needs any information about what's happening, what's going on with our website, what's going on with the life coaching, what's going on with P3,
Tracy's info as well. Please send us a message and we will get that info to you as soon as we can.
So now we can end the show. I'm just getting stuff ready.
I hope you have a wonderful week, everybody. Remember what Tracy said. Look in the mirror this week and say, I love you as many times as you need to until you actually start believing it. Until you actually can say, yes, I do love myself. Never forget those words. Those are the most important words. If you can leave with anything today, say I love you to yourself as many times as you can.
Bye, everybody. Have a great week.